What up, dudes? We back. We here.
Yo, 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 it's your boy.
Oh my god, that was the worst one you've ever done.
That sounds so scuffed. I love it.
That was disgusting. Ew.
I love it.
Max Verstappen won.
How do we feel about that?
Obviously I'm happy. Someone different won. That's all I care about. It was
Really?
a little controversial. A little controversial.
Yeah, you're gonna have to kind of go through that quickly because I don't get it.
So Lewis, we'll kind of briefly go through where it's like, I won't like stop and fully discuss it. But Lewis led pretty much the whole race. There was a few tidbits in between there, like at the, I think it's like lap 2 or 3. Max kind of forced him out wide, and then instead of coming back on track and getting into a wreck, Lewis just kept off track and kind of cut the course, but was told to slow down, but never really slowed down. So that was kind of a thing. And then at the end of the race, there was Lewis, 4 lapped cars, and then Max with 1 lap to go. Max was on fresh tires. So if he wasn't remotely close to Lewis, it was over. The standard protocol is for that all lapped cars to go around the safety car and for the field to be back bunched up. So it'd be Lewis, Max, everybody else.
Yeah.
Well, because it was so chaotic and whatnot, they didn't say lapped cars can go until almost the green flag. And they only allowed the 4 cars in between Lewis and Max to go.
Oh.
So it wasn't necessarily the cleanest race direction. But and if you look at how every other race has been, even the lapped cars have gone. So it was kind of silly for people to be upset saying that that would never happen. Like they would always have moved the lapped cars out of the way. Yes, they only
Is
moved
it me
4,
or was this played up really like significantly more than it was last year?
Oh yeah, most definitely. The fan base exploded with Drive to Survive.
Because this was making headlines weekly, and the 2 of them going at it.
It's the first time that Lewis in like 7 years that Lewis has had an actual like real contender. Because if it was these past few years, every time that he's raced, it's been him and Valtteri, and when it push comes to shove, Mercedes will always make sure Lewis is faster than the teammate.
Yeah.
So it was the first time that Red Bull was actually really able to contend in a while, and that's why it was so blown up. And it was blown out just because of the way both drivers handled the season. The subtle digs here and there, the wrecks that they both caused, etc. And both sides. So like Lewis fans and Max fans are so polarizing.
Yeah.
Where they said that Lewis could have killed Max. They said that Max could have killed Lewis. It's been a wild year
The
of
whole
that.
thing.
And then to end like that was par for the course. I don't see anything wrong with it just because that's what they normally do. They normally allow the lap cars to go by. So wouldn't have really changed anything. That wouldn't have, if anything different. I could see where people are frustrated and like the chaos that ensued because of it, because they waited so long to actually do it. Like they waited until they were almost going green before they actually did anything like that. So that sucked. But I think it was a little overblown because and like Kluge sent that one thing that was like, imagine being up 5-0 and then the team or the ref says next person scores wins.
Yeah.
I can see where they're trying to come up with that because Lewis led most of the laps, and then all of a sudden he's like, "All right, here's your last lap. Whoever wins this lap wins." But
Yeah,
that's what racing is. Racing is always last lap wins. It's not who
right.
wins the first lap. It's who wins the last lap. So I can see where the chaos and the anger comes from, but I think it would have happened either way.
It was a saucy season. That's all I know.
Oh, definitely, a great season. And
And with that, we are officially in
silly season.
dumb fuck season.
Yes. So
Let's
we'll
go,
talk
baby.
a little bit about like driver signings when they happen, but most of the time it's just going to be us going wild.
Yeah, obviously when news trickles in. How long? Well, it's usually a couple months, right? You usually start getting
Normally,
news
it's
February-ish
yeah, it's
about
different for
shit.
everything.
So,
Sometimes it might just randomly pop up.
true.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens. So we're gonna debate today, and I'll let you start because you're the one that's way more passionate about this than I am. You're a bitch. So
Well, I'm not. I wouldn't say way more passionate.
no, we just have different.
I
That's whatever.
just yeah. Red Notice movie came out on Netflix. It's the Netflix Golden Boy, apparently.
Oh, you're saying
And
because it made the most money and all that shit.
yeah, so it's allegedly broken every record that Netflix has ever had for a Netflix original movie. Watch time, stream time, whatever metric they use. Um, so allegedly, that's the case. I watched it. Tom watched it. Kluge watched it. I will bring Kluge into this because he did weigh in.
Yeah.
And I think the one thing I will say when we start is I think we can all agree it's not as good as everybody's pushing it to be.
1,000,000% can agree. It was not nearly as good as portrayed.
It was so hyped up. I was expecting top tier movie, and it's got the cast to do it.
Right.
But I think that's the only reason why it's top tier movie is because of the cast. I don't think the actual movie itself is not even good enough for that cast, to be honest with you, because that cast is just, in particularly Ryan Reynolds. I think I'm more of a Ryan Reynolds fan than I am a Rock fan. But
I'll agree with that. Where the cast outshined the actual plot of the movie.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
that would make sense.
pretty much the gist of the movie is very, very classic Ryan Reynolds, jokey, kind of goofy character. He steals shit, particularly art. He's an art thief, and they portray The Rock as an FBI character, who's been tasked with trying to stop Ryan Reynolds. And Ryan Reynolds' character in the movie is just he's the best, right? He's an escape artist. He gets away from everybody. He steals all the most expensive shit. So the movie starts with The Rock trying to stop him. The Rock's working with Interpol, and some shit goes down, and it looks like The Rock gets framed.
Because he is an FBI agent.
Right. It looks like The Rock gets framed into stealing something that was previously stolen by Ryan Reynolds' character. So Ryan Reynolds' character stole this item, this egg thing. I'm not going to go into much detail about that because it just doesn't matter. He stole an item. Interpol caught up with him, took it back, and then in transit they lost the item again. So the Interpol agent thought that like all The Rock's backstory is kind of sketchy, and it just was like framed as The Rock did it. So they jail The Rock and Ryan Reynolds' character together, and the two of them end up teaming up. And they find out that now we have Gal Gadot's character, who is the one that pretty much set the whole thing up. She's like the next best art thief, trying to take out our competition, which would be Ryan Reynolds, and get this super expensive item that he stole. So you find out that she screwed over Ryan Reynolds and The Rock, and then the movie goes probably what, hour and a half ish. fight scene, this thing in a tunnel. They get the last piece of the item that they're stealing.
Yeah.
Huge plot twist. The Rock and Gal's character are smashing.
Smashing and
And it was-
dashing. He was never an
It was
FBI
all,
agent.
yeah, he was never,
It was all
he
part of the
was-
ploy of the
he,
job.
right. He did help steal that item back there. He did, blah, blah. And the movie pretty much ends with them getting away with it until Ryan Reynolds' character cuts a deal with Interpol and tells them where they are and tells them to seize the bank account that had all this new money in it from the items that they stole. So then Ryan's proposal is, let's become a threesome and steal shit together and then move.
Or I'll tell them where you are.
Or else I'll tell Interpol. So they can escape Interpol for seemingly ever, apparently. And that was kind of the gist of the movie. Obviously, the big twist being The Rock is not actually in any police capacity. So it was a good twist. I'll give it that. The big debate comes with whether this movie or the other Netflix original movie that we've talked about already, Sweet Girl with Jason Momoa, are comparable. Which one's better? I say Sweet Girl's better. I like the Sweet Girl twist better. Now, obviously, the counter argument to that is Tom does not like, because he's expressed it before, the fact that a 14-year-old girl beats the piss out of grown-ass adults, which I'll give you that one. It just doesn't make sense.
Right. And like the thing is, and we talked about this where Red Notice, you going into this knowing that it's not going to be like
You
realistic.
knew it was going to be goofy.
It's
a
going to be
Ryan
funny,
Reynolds movie.
Right. It's a dramedy, whatever you want to call it, where the Sweet Girl literally tried to be the most serious thing it could be, and it had a 14-year-old girl understanding how to beat the government in every possible way, killing an assassin, getting up to a senator, like through all their security into a senator's office, which, okay, whatever. If you
getting away with everything and then escaping,
awesome. But get away with everything, get through an airport which has facial recognition, and you're clear. No, if you had threatened a United States sitting senator, your ass would be on every screen in the TSA, airports.
As an adult, mind you.
Right. Yeah, no.
You're a 14-year-old girl.
That was my biggest thing. And then like the twist was so like lackluster in comparison for me. That's why
that's my disagreement. That's my disagreement. I like the twist so much better in Sweet Girl than I did Red Notice. And Kluge agreed with me.
No, he didn't. He said it wasn't even a twist. So how could he agree with you?
I could have swore he agreed with me.
No, he said it wasn't a twist. He said it was so predictable. In Sweet Girl.
I thought he was. Maybe I read that wrong. I thought he was saying it the other way.
No, he agrees that Sweet Girl was better, but the twist was not the reason.
I thought he was saying the Red Notice twist was predictable.
Like I said that about Sweet Girl.
Because I predicted the Red Notice twist, could not predict the Sweet Girl twist. I was so like,
maybe I read it wrong. I don't know, but that's how I took it.
Maybe I'm just dense in the head, and the Sweet Girl twist was just easier to pick up on, and I just wasn't even.
I don't know. It's
a moot point because at the end of the day, both of them mediocre movies.
Way over. Like we both went on social medias, and Sweet Girl was 90 out of 100. Oh, it's so amazing. Whatever. Shit.
Yeah.
Red Notice, the biggest box movie or biggest Netflix movie ever. Huge superstar cast. Really good. 90 out of 100. And we're like, nah, this is shit. They're both shit movies. Well,
I think they can get away with what they get away with because they're
very average. Right. They're both very average.
If you sent those to theater,
dead,
they would not survive. And I think the biggest difference with that is just the accessibility. People are going to watch this movie
because they already have it.
They have a Netflix subscription and they know the cast, so they're going to watch the movie. They're not going to pay to go watch a movie like that. or they might for the first week,
But
the
then
weekend
all of
it's
their
out,
friends are gonna be
and
like,
then when the
no,
reviews come
just wait
out
for
and
it
say
to
that
go.
it's really not that worth it,
Yeah.
it ain't gonna pull because it's just not. And the amount of money that they spend to get those actors in that movie's almost bound to be in the negative. So
And they honestly, in Red Notice, they had so many plugs for their own personal brands.
yeah,
Like the tequila scene with not tequila, vodka was whatever gin. I think Ryan Reynolds says gin. Whatever, like that's his bottle.
oh yeah, yeah. I
And
did pick up on that.
and
I
The
was like,
Rock talks
bro,
about how he wants tequila instead. And Rock
yeah,
tequila
yeah.
brand.
It's like, ooh,
Yeah.
no, yeah, that one was,
I
um,
I I I was harsh with the grading, and I think I most recently I said like a 5 or something. I went back to our original discussion. I originally rated it a 6, and I think I rated Red Notice a 6.8.
is that
So,
is that too high or is it too low? Are you sticking with
um,
that?
no, I think I was too harsh most recently with the
Oh,
5.
oh, oh.
So I think I'm going to stick with a 6 and the 6.8.
I
I'll never watch Sweet Girl again. I'd probably throw on Red Notice just in the
I
background.
wouldn't throw on either again, to be honest with
I
you.
would, but I like with Red Notice, I'll throw it on there and I could be like, ah, nice. With Sweet Girl, I'd be like, what? No, this is dumb. See ya.
Yeah, you do have the, yeah, that's true.
Just because it had a little more
So
comedic value to it.
I think my thing at the end of the day was, what did I say? Didn't I say like, I'm gonna rescore it because I don't remember what my old one was. Um, I'm gonna do Sweet Girl 6-4, Red Notice 6.
I think that's pretty close. I think you were. I think you might have done a little lower for Red Notice, but it was around there.
I'm gonna bring it up to a 6. I don't think it's in the fives because it was still a satisfying experience. Um, you know what I did watch recently? Dark Phoenix, the X-Men installment.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yep. Yep.
Mm,
Yep.
those movies of
They it progressively got worse. Like
I don't know if we've ever talked. Have we ever talked about X-Men?
no, the X-Men First Class. That's the first one of like the prequels, right?
Yeah.
Very good movie.
Yep.
I don't even know what the second one's called because it
I don't
Apocalypse.
remember.
I think it's Apocalypse or whatever.
Well, no, they did Days of Future Past, which borked the timeline.
Oh yeah, Days of Future
That's why
Past.
it gets all
was a-
confusing because you have X1, 2, and 3,
yeah,
and then in the newest Dark Phoenix movie, you have what's her name? I can't think of her name now. Girl who played in Game of Thrones.
Sansa Stark. I can't
Yeah,
first name. Very
I
good.
can't either. Is it Sophie? Right?
Sophie Turner. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
she plays Phoenix, Jane.
Jane.
Jean. I'm sorry, not
Yeah.
Jane. Jean.
Nice.
Obviously in like X2 or 3, Jean's dead. So there's
Yeah, 'cause
there's
she
a
dies in the first one, doesn't she?
yeah, there's a weird like, well, this doesn't make sense. How does this line up to those movies?
Yeah.
They do it because in Days of Future Past, when, and I've only seen that movie once, so I don't remember all of it, but for whatever reason, Xavier needed Wolverine to go back in time for something, and when he did, he forked the timeline. So everything that happened in X1, 2, and 3 is no longer
In
like that reality.
canon
That
or
reality
whatever.
that Wolverine came from, it
Yeah.
it doesn't exist anymore. The new reality is the direction that the
The
X,
one where
because
he's in love with Jean.
yeah, because the X-Men, the newest X, the Dark Phoenix one, which I think they said was the last one of the mainline movies, Mystique dies.
Yeah. And Mystique was
So
very
it's like
much
that
alive
doesn't
in
make
X-Men
sense.
3.
Right. So, and she's a bad guy in X-Men 3, and in the first, in these movies she was a good guy. So
Like half and half, yeah.
I didn't get it. Like I looked into it, and that they explained that as like the whole reason why. So I was like,
But
okay.
they shouldn't have to because they had a fine enough thing to, but they wanted to milk money, so
Right.
they had to fuck it up.
And I love the way that they portrayed young Magneto and Xavier.
Yes, two
It was
perfect,
good.
perfect casting roles.
Yeah, it was good. And then even the Wolverine standalone movies I loved. And
But
the original X-Men were so good, but I just
the one,
the
two,
new
three
shit
of
started
the
getting
prequels got real bad. Apocalypse, it was good. All right, I'll throw it on, but it's not like no. It was no.
Phoenix was tough. There was a line in there that was like, ooh, cringy, and I want to talk about it, but I can't. It was very politically driven.
Send it to me after, or send it to me right now.
And, yeah, I'm going to send it to you right now so I can get like a kind of a live reaction. It was just one of those things where we talked about it before. Hold on, I'm sending this to you. I'm just going to quote. Mystique said it to Charles.
Okay. Is it gonna blow my mind? Why do I not remember it? Yeah, I never could get. I watched the first one, and then as soon as the second one came out, I wasn't a fan. Wasn't a fan of them doing that.
There, I sent it to you. It was just very like not needed, unnecessary.
Yep. Yeah, I feel like they did it in Deadpool too. I think they did that in Deadpool. But
so I was just like, bro. Yeah, but Deadpool almost does it.
That shit's annoying.
They almost do it as a point to like make fun of the fact that people do that.
Yes.
Like they're making fun of the trope almost.
Yeah.
Which is more respectable.
That's a very serious statement. Like it should be like this. Yeah. We won't do that. Oh.
Good.
Where'd you go?
She's getting in my bed, so I turned my video off.
Oh. You put it back on. You can't see me.
Huh?
You can't see me.
I mean, you can't. You're walking right in front of the camera, so they could. Yeah, it's right here. Are you good?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. There we go. Be back, baby. Anyway, so I think I give that movie a 5/5. Not good.
I haven't seen it long enough to give it a rate, but yeah, sucked.
It's just doo-doo. In fact, to be honest with you, I was watching it and there was parts of the movie where like I feel like I remember this. I almost want to say I've seen it before.
Watched it, right?
But it was so
unremarkable
that I just didn't remember. Yeah. And like watching it again, I was like, wait, did I see this already? The fuck?
I started watching Hawkeye.
Ooh.
So we both you watched Loki, right?
Yeah.
And Loki was the best one so far of the 4 that they've made, or 3 that they made.
Yeah. Yeah.
This one takes the cake.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's going to. I'm liking it more.
Excited.
Because it's more like
excited.
It draws you in more because it's a little more realistic and a little more like, okay.
I'm excited because in terms of the Avengers, like Hawkeye, I could give less of a shit about.
And but it makes you like love him. I think it does. This really isn't a spoil, but like obviously they went through a very traumatic time, so he has to deal. He's like dealing with everything post Endgame. But it's focused around him dealing with life after Endgame and certain things that have followed him.
Mm-hmm.
Where like Loki and all that is kind of still just going on with like space stuff.
Yeah.
Wild.
That's true.
But this is a very like, hey, something major happened. This is the reaction that we're getting. So I think that's why I like
Captain.
I guess they're all in reaction to
Captain Falcon or whatever the fuck that movie is, or show. The new Captain America. They tried doing that, but again, I think that one got too sidetracked.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no. The reason why I was invested in, the reason why I was invested in Loki was because he was gonna bang his female self, which was so it just like screwed with your mind so much that I was like, let's go.
So dude. I think they're at least on par for me, with Hawkeye leaning towards it, but I don't know.
What's her name is Kay Bishop. I was a little skeptical of that cast because she's a singer. Like she's not really much of an actress.
She's been in a lot of movies.
Oh, well.
I think she started as an actress. Then went to singing,
Oh, okay.
and then went back to act, or she does both. But she's good. She's good.
Okay. I might have seen a thing where, so as we know, I've talked about it before, and there's a lot of hype around the new Spider-Man movie for me too because of this. I think one of still to this day my one of my all-time favorite shows ever, and definitely favorite Marvel show was when Netflix was doing those run of Marvel shows, and they did the Daredevil one with Charlie
I
Cox.
heard that he's gonna be in this. There's a
I
foot.
heard
I see the foot.
I heard the oh yeah. I heard the
Is she touching you?
no what?
Nothing. I'm not doing anything.
No. Um I heard the actor that plays Wilson Fisk from the Daredevil show is going to end up in Hawkeye.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I haven't confirmed that, but
That makes
I
sense.
loved that actor's portrayal of Wilson Fisk was by far the best I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It was so good. And that's like I loved Wilson Fisk's character. That's part of the reason why I watched the Daredevil show. So obviously Kevin Feige's confirmed Charlie Cox's involvement in the
Right.
MCU to some degree. So people are speculating Hawkeye, Spider-Man, they don't really know.
It would make the most sense for Spider-Man just because it's gonna be
It would.
everybody.
And that's what I'm
But
hoping because ooh, that would be so good. I would literally fanboy the fuck out. I love Daredevil. Which leads me into the next point. New Spider-Man movie, baby. Your boy's gonna be the first to watch it. We're not gonna talk about it for a while because everybody's got to see it, and we want to obviously
what are we thinking? We're
free.
thinking like a month.
Probably because I think by the time you and Kluge
Wait.
see it,
We gotta a month because that'll be like the last episode I'm in.
yeah. So
For a while.
we'll have to do that because
We still don't
Obviously,
know
there's a-
how the podcast is gonna go after I leave. Just so we all
yeah, we'll figure that out.
we're working on it.
So I think the biggest thing for that is we want to give enough time for everybody to see the movie because
Yeah.
there's a lot of hype on how the movie's going to play out and who's in it with the whole, Toby Andy thing. We don't, so I definitely don't want to spoil it for anybody because if somebody did that to me, I'd be pissed. So we're going to wait a while. We're going to do a lot of spoiler warnings before we talk about it, but it will get talked
I
about.
think
So
what we should do is obviously go, hey, all right, we're talking about Spider-Man, and then we'll be like, all right, we alarm for 5 minutes, talk about it. Alarm goes off, we stop immediately, and that way they
Yeah.
can skip from 5 minutes from then to that.
yeah, agreed.
We'll do that. It might be a little longer than that, but that'll be the plan.
So
So no one
super
gets
pumped
spoiled
about
if
that.
they don't want to listen to it.
yeah, I'm not going to do that. I think the last thing I wanted to go through was football, baby.
Football playoffs for the fantasy.
Let's get it.
Let's go.
R.I.P. to Kluge.
Rip. Playing the consolation
R.I.P.
bracket.
R.I.P. Kluge, who ended up having one of the best teams, but just got absolutely biggity borked.
People,
and
I
didn't
really
make
think
playoffs.
I think it came to his team started showing back up too late. It was
Yeah,
a good
'cause he
team,
did a-
but they either injured or weren't playing up to snuff up until later in the season. And he had tough
Yeah.
matchups. The tough matchups
So-
killed him in the beginning.
R.I.P. Kluge. You will be missed.
See you next
It's
year.
not my sole responsibility to beat Tom in playoffs, which I don't think I'll be able to do because I don't think I'll be able to get past your
Actually-
damn sister.
So if you
So
oh yeah, no. If you win,
I play you.
is that what it is?
Yeah.
I don't think so. It's because you
You'd
wouldn't
have
be
to
the
look at it again
you
because I'm
wouldn't-
pretty sure.
you wouldn't be the lowest seed. Well, it just depends on whoever the lowest seed is. Whoever the lowest seed that wins, I play them, and whoever the high seed is goes to Kristen. Let's find out.
Yeah. That'd be good if you and me were in the finals. That'd be nice.
So I would either play. So if you lose, I play my sister. Actually, okay. So the only person I would play. All right. Well, I wouldn't play Hodge. No matter what, I won't play Hodge.
Yeah.
Simple as that. So I could play Lauren, I could play Chelsea, or I could play you. It all depends on who wins.
Yeah.
Which currently you are not projected to win.
No. I'm making money moves though.
And I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna risk it.
no way Devontae Freeman gets 13 points.
Okay.
Oh,
No,
actually, maybe.
the thing that's pissing me off is Chelsea has
All the Green Bay
been
play.
riding Green Bay's dick this entire
She's a Green Bay fan.
season, and it's screwed because she's got two of the highest producing point players on all of Green Bay.
What
and
week are we
possibly
in?
even
This is week 14?
Yeah.
Week 14. So you guys play week. All right. So in the finals, shit, I won't play her in the finals. I'd play her next week. It'd be awesome in week 17 because all of Green Bay's starters wouldn't play. And that would help me a lot.
Yeah.
But
yeah, because that's where she's getting her points. Last week she got 50 points from Aaron Rodgers and Adams.
Devontae, yeah.
That's
Yeah, but if you look at the first 6 weeks, they barely
Nothing.
scored for her.
Yeah.
That's the problem with when you draft all one team, you get fucked.
Yeah, literally.
But then when they have a really good game, you have a really
it's a good
game.
fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I don't know how that'll work. I'm super scared of my quarterback situation. I don't know who to play.
It's tough.
So much so that I do not want to play. I don't think Russell's good enough to play against the Rams right now.
Not if the show madness.
And I don't think the way Carr's been trending that he's going to do good against Green Bay. So
Well, I don't know. Green Bay lets up a good amount of points. They let Chicago fight them for a while there. So
I was going to play Landry. Let me just start with that. I was going to play Jarvis Landry because Marquise Brown.
Well, Lamar was out
on a hot
week.
streak. Right, he was on a hot streak in the last 4 or 5 weeks. Brown's kind of been up and down a lot, and because the Ravens are hitting the struggle bus a little bit, so I took Brown out. I put Landry back in. He goes out on COVID, so can't play him. I have to play either Brown or DK, which is not a good situation to be in because both have trended down.
Well, Brown's out, right?
No, he's playing.
He's playing. I was thinking.
The problem is he doesn't have Lamar, so
right. Lamar
they've
might
trended
back this week.
Yeah, I still think I play DK over him though. I haven't been.
And Russell's coming back into shape. It's just he's been coming back into shape with Tyler Lockett, not DK.
Right. So I'm down a receiver a little bit. I'm locked in with Kupp and Godwin, so I'm not concerned about them. But my quarterback situation, dude. So anyway, Landry goes out on COVID, so I could bump him to reserve now.
Go pick up a guy.
I picked up Tua against the Jets.
Oh, okay, all right. I actually don't think he played very well against the Jets last time.
He got 25 points last time.
Oh, he did. Never mind. Okay.
So if it was anybody else, I would not have done that.
100% agree. I agree with that.
I think I'm going to risk this one, and I think I'm going to play Tua against the Jets. Either way, I lose. If I do it and he doesn't do well, I lose. If I don't do it, I don't think either Russell or Carr will get me enough points to win anyway. So,
who's Green Bay playing again? They're playing
the Raiders.
Ooh, the Raiders have a notoriously bad defense.
Yeah, so I kind of have to just risk it at this point a little bit because my running back situation's been hit or miss. I mean, Gordon's balling out, but Chubb's Cleveland's been bleh. So
they're injured. They're COVID up.
Yeah,
Cleveland went down.
I'm hoping Chubb gets way more touches now because half their team's on COVID reserve. Yeah. So,
I mean, he should.
So that's my
We'll see.
Dilemma.
I've got to buy this week,
Yeah.
so life's good. I'm
Yeah,
back in number
and-
one. Don't worry. It was only a week that we were out of number one. We're back.
I don't think Kristen's got a better team than you, for being honest.
I got a pretty good team.
You do.
They're
You recovered from the Derrick Henry flub.
Yeah, I made the right moves.
Because that was
It sucks that I lost. Like I lost the number 1 and number 2 tight end throughout the year.
yeah, he had both.
had-
Nobody could say that they had both Kelsey and Kittle, and
I
could not keep either of them,
I drafted Kittle. I traded Kittle for Kelsey.
which was
I
a
traded
fascinatingly stupid trade.
I traded Kittle and one of my running backs. Yeah, because this is back when Ronald Jones was still technically getting more reps than Leonard Fournette. So I traded Leonard Fournette Ronald Jones and George Kittle for Travis Kelce because it's Travis Kelce.
Which is hilarious because Fournette has been booling.
Yeah.
For the last 8 weeks.
And then Derrick Henry went down for me, and I was like, I don't have a running back anymore. I traded that guy away, but he wasn't even good, so I was fucked either way. So I went and Jake needed a tight end really badly, and he had an okay backup running back, and I was like, you know what, give me Cordell, who was having a hell of a career year for me. He's got 500 rushing yards, 500 passing yards or receiving yards. And every time he catches the ball, that's another point. So, I mean, when he plays receiver half the time, I'm getting an extra point. He's the perfect running back for a PPR league. So I picked him up. I got Cordell and Noah Fant, who's like, I think top 6 for Travis Kelce. And we've made do. We've won when we needed to.
Yeah.
Except for against Cookie. That annoys me that I was undefeated against that bitch.
That is just satisfying.
2-1 against
My
him.
turn.
2-1 against him. Undefeated against shit.
Yeah, it's my turn. I gotta worry about this week though, so
Yeah.
a little concerned. But anyway. All right, ladies and gents.
Let me do a quick
Boys
little
gotta
thing.
go take a
Before I go,
dumpers.
I also have to starting Thursday tomorrow. Well, maybe yesterday for you guys. The HWR iRacing AI Championship will be up on the YouTube. Go check it out. It's a blast. Kluge and I are broadcasting. Falcon hops in there once in a while. We might have Shep hop in there once in a while. Basically, what we did was we put a bunch of people's names, but all the drivers' names on computerized drivers or computerized cars. Put Shep in there. We put LeBron James in there just because we hate him.
I lost to LeBron James. That makes me feel great.
And LeBron James is at 0 skill. Shep has 70 skill, and he still lost him.
Yeah.
So
This should be this week's title. Shep loses to LeBron James.
we have fun. It's a good time, and it's just us watching iRacing put on a race for us essentially. So go check it out. It'll be live yesterday for you guys. It's I think like 45. It's a 15 lap race. All these are 52-mile races. So it's like 12 to 15 laps at each track. It's a fun little time. Bunch of different liveries. It's cool. So go check it out, and thank you all for watching us, supporting us. We had another great year. Now we're coming to the end of 21 already. Holy fuck!
I know.
And again, we'll with those 4 months that I'm gone, we'll figure out the whole podcast thing when we get closer. We don't know for sure what's Kluge's schedule, if he can take over me or not. Figure it out. If we have to, we might take the hiatus. It just might have
we
to
don't
be.
know with my
I
schedule.
just 100% cannot record while I'm dead.
Yeah, that's a no.
No, yeah. So we'll see what happens. Love y'all.